Hi, welcome to 3000 Thieves TV. Today we're here with Mike from Vertue, owner of Vertue of the coffee drink. One of Melbourne's finest and also most well hidden. I understand where the name has come from. For those who don't know, do you want to talk a bit about it?
So we've actually got a poster up there. You probably can't quite see it, but you'll see when you come in. It was written in 1652 when coffee first came to London.
Yeah.
And so it outlines all the medicinal properties of coffee, all the virtues of the coffee drink.
Yeah.
And so we took our name from that little handbill that was handed out.
So you've been here for how long?
Just over 1 year.
Just over 1 year. How do you think, in that time, how do you think it's changed, if it has changed?
Yeah. When we first opened, like, pretty much any new sort of cafe in Melbourne, you get, written about by, a few different publications and it all kind of explodes. But then it's all about trying to hold on to those people and making sure that you create a good impression so that way they tell other people and they form your customer base. We've also found increasingly there's a lot of people who are around here who they still find out about us. Like, we've been here for more than a year, but we still get locals who have lived in Carlton all their lives and they've gone, no, there's nothing down there. It's like, what? You guys, when did you come here? Like, they think we've only been here for a few days or a few weeks.
Yeah,
but,
it's that well hidden.
Yeah, but it's nice that we're still being discovered and there's still people popping in.
Now I want to try and piece together where your passion for coffee comes from. When did you start drinking coffee? How young were you?
I reckon probably 9 or 10.
Yeah.
And I think I tried some of my mum's iced coffee and I hated it. It was terrible. It was in a cafe in Camberwell and it was just made horribly.
Yeah.
And I remember trying that and thinking, this is terrible. Why do people drink coffee?
I don't like coffee. Yeah.
No, I didn't really go back to it for quite a few years. But then I started working in hospitality when I was 15.
Yeah.
And it more so, at that point it was, I started drinking coffee because everyone else was drinking coffee and I thought it was a cool thing to do. But then I started to realize that it doesn't have to taste like crap and just keep you awake. It actually can be amazing. Like, you can get incredible flavors. It doesn't have to just be a drink that wakes you up. It can be something that, it can be light and delicate, or it can be strong and rich. It can be all kinds of other things in between.
Who made the best coffee in your house growing up?
All right, so...
And they're probably going to see the video, so pressure's on.
Yeah, Dad was usually on coffee duty.
Yeah?
Yeah, I always watched how he made coffee and that's all great and he made good stuff. Now that I know a lot more about coffee, there are a few things I would like to change about what he does.
About how he does it?
Yep.
Yeah. What would you change? What would you change first?
He still has one of those little blade grinders, like the little blade down the bottom that just destroys the coffee.
My dad too.
Yep. Now everyone, like my family, my extended family, and all my wife's family, everything like that, no one makes me coffee anymore. So
are they too intimidated?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
whenever there's like Christmas functions or birthdays, like you have all your food and have everything, then it comes up the coffee round. Then they go, all right, Mike, Mike, you're doing it, which you don't want to do. Like, it's your day off.
So it's like, it's your birthday, it's your day off. It's like, get up and make us all a coffee.
That's right. Yeah, because they refuse to make me one otherwise. So.
But have you complained, or is it just a presumed like?
It's mostly presumed. It all depends on how it's made.
Yeah.
I can't stand instant. For me personally, I've had it twice and both times it's ended up down the sink. Usually if I don't know how it's going to be served, then I'll usually just go, no, I'm fine, I'll just have a tea or something like that. And so I think...
It's a good technique.
It works.
You're not ending up with any bad coffee then.
There we go, this is true, yeah.
That's got to be a positive. In your family, was it a ritual? Was there any kind of ritual around coffee? Did you always have it in the morning? Did you always have it at night?
Yeah, in our family then it was more so on the weekends, like Saturday and Sunday, Mum and Dad would sit around with the paper and there'd be a plunger that he'd make. And, I'd have some of that and, you'd always have your Mum who would always have it black and Dad a little bit of milk and all that kind of thing. So yeah, there was always that sort of little bit of ritual about it.
Do you think that has stemmed to any kind of like your rituals now? Because I'm assuming you do have rituals now. I've seen you drink 2, maybe 3 coffees in about 5 minutes.
So far, yes. Yeah, a little bit. So my wife and my daughter, we've got a coffee machine. We've got about another 11 or 12 different ways of making coffee.
What do you have?
Espresso, Turkish, siphon, plunger, stovetop, pour over, Chemex.
Clever?
Sorry?
Clever dripper?
I've got clever drippers, yes.
Yeah, of course.
What else? AeroPress, cold drip. But honestly, I don't use most of them anymore. Yeah. So I go pour overs or espresso most of the time. The ritual is what you make it. Like, there's always coffee which is involved in things, but I guess what's different about Melbourne culture especially is that coffee isn't just about the coffee and just about waking up.
Yeah.
And you kind of make your own ritual about it. So it might be in your own house and you drink your coffee and you find that, it brings you all together in the morning, or it might be at a cafe and you have a bit of a conversation, but it becomes something more.
Yeah.
And that's the thing I really like about coffee.
And on that, do you think that there's always a story involved with coffee?
More often than not, there is usually a bit of a story there. It's not just about a story between a couple of people having coffee, but it's even more so about the story with the coffee. And so someone might be having a coffee by themselves, but they're interested in what they're having and where it comes from and what's different about it.
And you've seen that increase?
Very much so.
Yeah, that's great.
And that's the thing, and it's really nice to see even the people who they're having a coffee and they might be just that regular customer who always has, say, a flat white, or always has a long black or something else like that. Then just through a little bit of a conversation, they realise that there's other things there, that they can have, a different kind of single origin or micro lot or a filter or a batch brew or something else like that. And they go,
you can
wow,
open them up.
Yeah, I thought the coffee was this, and now suddenly it's all this, which is awesome.
What's the first coffee or the first cafe that you think really opened your mind to the possibility of what coffee can be?
Proud Mary's really did a lot of really good things, and I've always really enjoyed their stuff.
Yeah.
Original St. Ali.
Yeah.
Did really good stuff as well, and obviously Mark Dunnan's moved on to do a whole lot of other projects, but that was a bit of a starting point as well.
Yeah.
I also think Industry Beans.
Yeah.
Probably one of the first few that really kind of started pushing the envelope and going, okay, here's everything that we can do with coffee, but here's everything else that can go along with that. And then they kind of, took the Melbourne cafe scene and went, okay, cool, now here's a bar.
We've just been talking about how kind of spoilt Melbourne is for coffee and for options. When did you, or was this always part of the plan to have roasting involved in your business? Because there are so many people roasting coffee in Melbourne.
I don't know, all right, there's a lot of people now who can make a beautiful coffee, okay? And it's fairly well known, and there are no shortage of people who will give you hints on, how to texture your milk or how to run a shot or anything else like that.
Yeah.
Whereas roasting is still very much a hidden art. It's not well known about what makes a great roast, or how to actually get it from green coffee to roasted coffee, or even that there is green coffee, that it doesn't just start off as being roasted.
Yeah.
I wanted something where you had that sort of hidden location, but then that roaster is the first thing you see.
Yeah.
And when we roast,
that was a conscious decision. I don't even need to ask.
Yeah.
I can tell when you walk in. It's you.
Exactly right. And it was also a conscious decision to make sure that it was there, and we roast during service. So that way people were sitting down and having their food, and they're watching someone roast.
So you can see the whole process.
Exactly right. And that's more important, because then it actually gets people thinking a bit more. One thing I really dislike about the whole specialty coffee thing is that it is so hidden, and you've almost got to be part of a club to know about it and to be part of it and to take part.
Yeah.
Which I don't like.
And you feel like I feel like people feel that they're excluded from it, and because they don't understand what a single origin is, or they don't understand what a micro lot is.
Exactly.
They don't understand what a filter is, or it's got V60 written there, and they go,
I don't know what that is.
Yeah.
So that's exactly it. I wanted to try to remove that. What I really want to do is I want people to enjoy beautiful coffee, okay, and like it and explore it. But as soon as you start going, okay, specialty filter V60 micro lot, you start to scare them away, and they go, I don't know what to order. I really wanted to create a place where we have all the wank factor of coffee without the wank.
Yes.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. What cafe is your regular on a day off?
If I'm in the city, then it's probably got to be Patricia, the vast majority of the time. If not, League of Honest Coffee, also great.
Yeah.
Apart from that, it's just about wherever I am, or whichever place has opened recently or is doing something different. Yeah, I don't have a regular as such.
Espresso or filter?
Depends, but filter usually now.
AeroPress or V60?
V60.
I've seen in there you've got the EK43 grinder and you've got the Victoria Adreno Mythos.
Yep.
Which grinder would you pick?
They're used for different things. For espresso, Mythos, 100%. For filter, EK.
He's trumped me there with that question. Iced, filter, or cold drip?
Cold drip.
All right, yes or no, fruit in a filter coffee?
Yes, 100%.
Food with coffee?
Yes, but very hard to do.
Decaf, yes or no?
Yes. There are a lot of people who can't choose, so you have to have it.
That's a very calculated answer. So before we'd been introduced, I remember coming here and having a coffee and you asking me with like the most sincerity how my coffee was.
Yep.
And for me, in kind of a good way to be frustrated, I felt like without fail, every time I had to look you in the eye and say, yes, my coffee is very, very good. You know, like I hadn't had the chance, and not that I wanted to have a bad coffee or have a bad experience or start a fight or whatever, but I just felt like I just had probably one of the best coffees I'd ever had. And then the next time I came, having that same frustration of you asking me again and feeling like the bar had been lifted from that previous point up again, and me having to look you in the eye again and being like, yes, yes, you've just done it again to me, like one of the best coffees I've ever had. Like,
awesome.
So I promise you, Mike's going to look after you if you come here. We're hidden down Rafa Place, just the corner of Elgin and Lygon. It's well worth the trip. Thanks for chatting to us.
Beautiful. Thank you very much. Chalk forward.